Let's get into it though. Before we introduce our guest, and we got a banger guest for today. We got some stuff to give away. So Claudia, we are picking two first-time writers from the month of April. Claudia, what do we have to give away today?
So we have a few things to give away. So it's going to be a raffle. So it's going to be a wheel spin of agent names who have issued business for the first time in April. After April, it's going to be an every single month thing. So it's a new thing we're starting. And if you are one of the two winners, you get to pick one of our prize options. So the first one we have is a brand new MacBook Air. The second option is going to be the $1,000 in leads. Third option is a pair of the Jabra headphones, plus $500 in leads. And then the fourth option is an iPad with an Apple Pencil. So, woo!
And you have to be on this call to qualify, and you do have to have your camera on. So if everyone could please turn their cameras, it'd be much appreciated.
Yeah. People who don't have their camera on don't get to win.
Get on
all right,
quick.
so let me make sure everybody is in. We have a couple people in the waiting room.
We're both on there.
Still joining.
No, there's a lot.
All right. Okay, there's like a lot going on my screen. I'm so used to having my monitor. So sorry, guys. All right. So our first winner is, drum roll.
Let's go. Spin that sucker. Nathan. Nathan.
Nathaniel DeBerry. Is Nathan on the call? I got some people in the waiting room. Is Nathan on the call? Don't want. All right. Trying again.
Respin that sucker. Nathan could have got a new MacBook, but only he would have hopped on. Ooh.
Jeremiah Carmichael. Do we have a Jeremiah?
Jeremiah.
Going once.
Going once. Going twice. Respinner. Gavin's like, bro, please. Like, I'm here. I'm here. Pick me.
David Coel? Do we have a David? No? All right. Reboot. Can you guys hear Gavin? Even though he's not even though he's muted, can you hear him through my headphones?
No, but I can see him. All right, is Mohammed on here? Mohammed, I have your MacBook.
My name is Mohammed.
I have $1,000.
Not you, though. Sorry.
Different Mohammed, brother. Some of y'all need to tell your agents to get on here.
All right.
We can spin the sucker all day. We can keep going.
Brendan Thursall. Come on. No? I just searched his name in the thing. Okay, we're out. I'm getting quicker on this. Now this is just getting sad. So if you're on here, you better be paying attention. Oh my gosh, Gavin, that was so cool.
Joseph Collins. There he is.
I'm here.
What's up, brother?
Hello.
Hold on. First of all, introduce yourself. So say where you're from, what you were doing before this, and who you're working with.
All right. So I'm from Romeo, Michigan. I'm under Caden Sloan. And before this, I'm still in college. So I'm starting off this summer strong and been in the office. This is my second week in the office. So down here in Michigan, or up here in Michigan.
Fire. All right.
Yes,
and then
sir.
do you need to see the prize list again?
What was still remaining out of them?
Well, it's everything. It's whatever you want. So we have.
Get the leads.
It's the MacBook. That let me just pull it up real quick. Hold on. I don't know how to like do my screen and then
So we got a MacBook. Option number 2 is $1,000 in leads. Number 3 is Jabra headphones plus $500 in leads, or an iPad plus an Apple Pencil.
I'll do the $1,000 of leads.
fire option. All right, Joseph, I will text my number or drop my number in the chat. Just text me, I guess, like your mailing address.
Sounds
And
good.
or I guess well, I don't have to physically mail it to you. Just text me so you are on my radar.
Sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, sir. Congrats,
All
brother.
right, got one more.
Aaron Schwa.
Aaron.
Going
Just
once,
check his name.
going twice.
I don't think he's
Nope. All right, respin that sucker. Good football, Gavin. Zachary.
What's up, guys? I'm
Zach.
here.
Zach.
How you guys doing?
Let's go. What's up, brother? Introduce yourself to the team.
So my name is Zachary Bernier. Started, actually ripping quite a bit, a month or two ago. I just got like my first submitted business early April, and I'm gonna keep grinding this summer. This is gonna be what I'm doing full time, and yeah, I'm just excited to
Where
keep
you
going
living
with
out
it.
of?
What?
Where you living out of?
I'm in Rochester, Michigan. I'm under Caden Sloan as well.
Oh, okay. 2 for 2 for Caden. All right.
Lucky Caden, right?
All right. Congrats, brother.
All right. What are you picking?
So
Get it back.
it's $1,000 of leads that's gone right now, correct?
I
We'll
mean,
still give it to you.
I was say you can pick whatever you want. It's just like one of 4 options. Just pick whatever you want.
Okay, let's do the MacBook Air actually. Why not?
All right. I'm going to drop my name and number in the chat. If you can just text me all of like your shipping information, and we can get that out to you.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate you guys.
Awesome. You're welcome. Congratulations, guys. And again, reminder, this is something we're going to be doing every month, issued business. So as soon as the final issue paid numbers are out, we will send a text reminder letting you know of the new agent raffle so that you can make sure you're on and you're not one of the people who missed it. And then you get your chance to win. So if you haven't issued business yet, hopefully May is the month that you do so that you can win early June. All right. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen now. I am going to pin our guest. Let me go find him. There he is.
Maliik, where are you at?
There he is.
Right here, brother. Thank you for having me on.
Man, every time I see you, the dreads get a little bit longer, a little bit more beautiful.
Thank you.
So, dude,
Thing here is glowing.
100%. It's Jonah's direction, so thank you guys, both of you.
Man, there's something about, I gotta say, every vegan I know has glowing skin. There's something about it.
The fruits, it's definitely the
The
fruits.
fruits.
It's the diet.
First of all, you gotta half the people on here don't know who you are, so you gotta share what your diet is.
Yeah, so for my diet, you guys, I primarily just eat fruits and alkaline fruits. So a lot of like berries, strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, a lot of melons, I usually do like pistachios or almonds too. So yeah, pretty much all fruit. I also do calisthenics, so I don't do any weights. I just do body weight stuff, and also do intermittent fasting. So all 3 of those is definitely what keeps me, keeps longevity in the industry for the agents that coming into the office. Definitely, my brother hosts 2 workout sessions, an early one and a midday session. So all the agents have to attend one of the sessions. They have to work out to get in the office.
It's huge. That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk to us the importance about that. About why is physical fitness so heavily correlated with success in the insurance industry?
Yes, that's a good question. I mean, for me, like what I believe in is the mind, body, and soul. So it's tough when you're in the office for long periods and you might be, eating like, you might be eating junk all day, maybe not working out. And that's for me, that's like disaster waiting to happen. So you want that full balance. For me, I believe that you can't help another family until you help yourself first. So it's tough, telling me something on the phone like an objection when like I just hit a full blown workout. I feel great, I look great. I'm coming on the phone like nothing can phase me. So I think that's where a lot of my motivation and drive comes from that small win early on, that equals those big wins later on in the day.
Oh yeah, 100%. And you're mother effing unstoppable. After you get a good workout and you get that first one of the day, that's so important. That's so important. Yeah, me and the guys, we were in Golds this morning. Had a few of the guys in here and doing we have a makeshift office at the house right now. So you can see a lot of the guys on Zoom here. We're dialing from our home until the waiting on June 14th, the Tampa office to open up, maybe.
Yes,
But
sir.
awesome, man. Well, a lot of people on this call is Malik. What I like about you is you're so low key and you execute. Where
Mhm,
you're locked in with you and your crew. You guys are locked in. I talk to you every week, so we talk every
mhm,
single week. I check to see how you're doing. But a lot of people on this call, don't really know who you are or what you're doing recently.
mhm.
First of all, it's share with us about because we were on the phone before this about just a little bit of a backstory of how long you've been selling with us, how you got into this and what you were doing before this.
Yeah, so I've been in the industry about a year and a half. I think the end of September will be my 2 year mark. So not too long. I still feel new. But yeah, before this, so I graduated 2015 from Cal Poly SLO. My major was engineering. I did not end up using the engineering degree. I got into like a couple management programs. I was doing that for a while and I was doing corporate. I was doing solar distribution sales, not door to door, but selling B2B business to the installers. I was doing roofing distribution. And then long story short, I had a business of my own. I was doing vegan food and juicing company here in San Diego. I always knew I wanted to get into entrepreneurship, especially already have my own business there. Long story short, I was at a FedEx and I was printing flyers for my juicing company, and a gentleman approached me and he was like I like your shoes. And keep in mind, he had just taken his test the week before, so he's already recruiting. So he asked me a question. I was like, "Yeah, thank you, bro." Like, kind of turned back around, and then he asked another question. This is Elijah, by the way. I turned around and I knew like he just had this positive, like this magnetic aura on him. So I started talking to him, and I knew after that conversation, I'm like, "Bro, I'm gonna quit my job." And he's telling me, he's like, no, like just wait a little longer, get licensed. I quit like the next day, like came into corporate, like you guys, like I'm out. So I came in cold turkey. It took me 7 weeks to get licensed through the state of California. So that whole week I mean, the whole time I wasn't sitting on my butt. I was in listening to presentations. I was doing script training, watching a ton of YouTube videos. So by the time I came in on my first day, I think I sold a policy my second day. So yeah, I was pretty much hit the ground running on my first start.
Yeah, and that's so important. So no sales experience prior to this.
Well, yeah, I did have sales experience because I was doing solar sales, roofing sales, management. So yeah, I did come in with some sales experience.
Oh, okay, so you were selling that and doing the installation. Got it.
Hmm.
Okay. But I mean, that's so important because a lot of, or not a lot, but we really emphasize this in the new agent training. But some agents I've seen come in and they'll just sit on their hands. They're like, well, waiting for my license to get approved. Can't do much. But man, that's just, don't let that time go to waste. And I encourage all of you guys on this call is, if you're recruiting, developing, building a team is, make sure your guys are, while they're waiting on their contracts, make sure they're going through the boot camp, check in on them, send them podcasts, send them training videos. If their contracts get delayed or their license gets delayed, get them on the phones, booking appointments for you or somebody else. That's a win-win. There, you have a free dialer that can book appointments for you to allow you to close more, and that gives the new agent an opportunity to get not only get experience but also make money while and book appointments for you. Any that you close, you guys split which way you see is fair. So that's important. Malik, what's your biggest month you've done in the industry?
Biggest month was last January. I submitted 83,000, issue paid 67,000. So yeah, last January was my biggest month. Um, I missed Hall of or President's Club by like 50,000 last year, so I was a little bit pissed on myself. But there was a couple months that I kind of took my foot off the gas, so that's definitely one of the learning lessons I'll go over today for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you'll get it this year.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely getting it this year.
For sure.
No
Get it this
questions.
year. Well, first of all, because you wrote that at 80 grand off of working strong point leads, and you're still primarily working strong point leads, correct?
Yeah, so when I first started over my first, I think like month and a half, I was just doing second chance age mailers. And then after my second month, Miles at the time, he was like, bro, just buy these strong point leads. I'm like, okay, I was doing well already. I was like, forget it. Like, the more leads, yeah, I'll take them. So I ended up grabbing them. And this was so I first started at the end of November. And I didn't even break even on my first pack. But I think what separated me, because I think a lot of people started at that time, they didn't buy. I just kept buying week after week and I kept getting better. My second pack, I did more than break even. Third pack, I 3x, and I just kept going from there. So yeah, strong point. I've been doing strong point ever since.
So it sounds like there was a bit of a learning curve though when you first started working on them.
Yeah, the learning curve, and I think everyone experiences this when they hop over to like social media leads. We try to treat them or work them the same as like our age, mailers, which I was blasting the mailers. So for me switching over to strong point, I'm blasting them. And for my personal number, because I was working multiple states. I didn't see the success that I wanted. I got blocked a lot because I wasn't working them well. And then I think the mentality of like this is like mandatory almost. I was carrying that into the conversation with the social media leads. So that wasn't working well. So yeah, there was a couple things that I had to learn early on. One of the biggest things that I can tell you guys, what took me from like the script reader to like the presenter level, was not talking more, but actually listening more. So listening more is what took me to the next level, because now I ran into a lot of situations where maybe I was pitching the full mortgage, but that wasn't really what was feeling like that pain point for him. Maybe it was equity protection. And I think being newer on, I was kind of nervous selling equity protection because I didn't understand the full value of it until later on. And I think selling equity protection at a high rate, how was I able to do that? Well, becoming the best listener and seeing what they actually needed. That's what allowed me to sell more of that 50% that are against the wall.
Got it. Yeah, and that's so important. That's really what being good at sales is just being an active listener. I think that's something we can all improve on. It's just there's just between listening to your clients and actually listening and really understanding and analyzing their situation. And I was just with our guys here in Tampa, I was just having a conversation with them yesterday about how, that's what's so cool about this business and what we do is it's very duplicatable. It's very copy and paste where, as long as you're sticking to the proper structure, you're sticking to the script, you're going to help that family. And so it's not complex. It's very simple, which is great. And it's good. Because that's what allows you to scale. That's what allows new agents, even if you don't have any prior sales experience, to come in here and hit the ground running and start crushing it, as long as you're putting in the appropriate amount of dials. But and then you all know that the agent that struggles is the agent that's constantly trying to switch up his presentation, constantly trying to switch up his script, or is maybe not keeping the proper structure. But on that same note, where there is a little bit of you do have to turn on a little bit of your creative side of your brain in these sales as well,
100%.
where it's 90% of it's sticking to the script, sticking to your structure, doing what you need to do. But that other 10%, that allows you to turn on that creative side of your brain, like you were talking about, Malik, actively listen to them, understand their situation, constructively analyze that financial inventory, and figure out what's going to make the most sense and what's going to put this family in the best position. Because I don't know about you guys, but for me, if we only had one product and it was the exact same pitch every time and everything was exactly the same, that would get really boring really fast. So that structure overall is more or less there. but that other 10% is really, how you can turn on your creative side of your brain. And the way I see it is really have fun with the sale, because there's a little bit of that challenge. And as entrepreneurs, we need something that's going to give us a little bit of a challenge and allow us to creatively analyze and figure out how we can help that family.
100%. The and like Jonah was saying too, so with the best like active listener, like what I'm doing for that, I'm listening for tonality changes. So for me, it's weird on the phone. I kind of see like a rhythm on the phone. So like if I feel something like didn't hit that note right, I'll stop the presentation, because what'll happen is if we're not listening for their tonality changes as well, they might have had a question or an objection there. And if we're continuing on in the conversation, well, guess what? They're still probably thinking about that objection. Odds are they probably didn't hear the next 5 or 10 seconds of your pitch. So that's what I'm stopping. I'm listening for tonality changes. If they have any questions, if something didn't make sense, I'm listening for tonality changes when I pitch options. If maybe I hear some sort of hesitation, and then also I'm listening for tonality changes when I'm soft closing as well. So soft closing is also what took me to the next level with the digital leads.
Man, that's so important, because if you're not careful, it's very easy to bulldoze over the client, where they had a hesitation, they had an objection, you just kind of just steamroll over them and keep going. And like you said, then they tune out. And it's in order to help a client, you guys have to be aligned every step of the way. There, you can't be unaligned on anything. Where you've all heard the saying, sales is a transfer of energy. So the energy, and you and the client have to be one, and you have to be aligned. And so you really have to, be attentive and be fully locked in to that family you're trying to help.
100%.
So, well, Malik, what were some other changes that you had to adopt switching from direct mail to digital mortgage?
Mm. Good question. With digital mortgage, it's crazy because you never know who you're talking to on the other end. So you'll talk to government officials, high executives. So you're talking to all different type of people. So for me, being transparent was I think a little bit of a struggle for me. It was tough for me to tell someone, hey, you're not healthy enough to qualify for that product. So the transparency is what allows me to get through the door every single time. And also it opens up the door to referrals as well. So what I'm doing with the strong point, how I'm able to close at a high rate, I'll go over some of my numbers from like the last 2 weeks. In the last 2 weeks, I've spent $5,600 on leads. So I was about 125 fresh strong point leads, and I wrote about 22,000. So how am I able to do
Let's
that?
go.
Yeah. So how am I able to do that is I'm usually writing 2 to 4 applications on each client. So either it's I'm getting his and hers, or I'm pitching a stack, or I'm going in and I'm taking care of the kids as well. So I think I was missing a lot of opportunities when I first started, because they just thought they might have just thought I took care of mortgage protection. Maybe I didn't let them know all the services that we offer. And then two, going in and I'm taking notes on, hey, if there's kids, if there's grandkids, and I'm also prompting a little bit of rapport in my presentation. Do you need to build rapport? Absolutely no, but that's just my style. And if you guys are building rapport, the questions need to sound sincere. So some examples that I'm using on those is like, if they tell me that they had a stroke, well, hey man, was anyone with you at the time of the stroke? And that'll usually gauge them to start opening up. You'll start uncovering layers that were uncovered when you first got on the phone with them, and now they actually feel like I have a sense of like compassion, that I actually care for their situation. So those are some of the questions. Hey, do you have any kids, any grandkids? I'm kind of writing that down on the side, so that way when I get back into the application, well, guess what? By the time they know it, I'm asking about the kids, grandkids, or whatever. Now I'll share a little bit about myself. They know something about me. And before they know it, I'm already done with the application. Now, when I give them a call back for that policy review or whatever the case may be, or I have points to talk on. Now I'm also taking a look into client retention as well. So those are some of the things that you guys want to do in every presentation. That way you guys will have something to stand on when you guys give them a call back as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let me ask you this one, like, was it scary for you to jump from working the direct mail to the digital and really increase that lead spend?
The thing is, well, a couple things with that. and I didn't even know what they were at the time. Miles was like, "Bro, buy these leads." Like I heard they were good. I'm like, "All right, we like I'll just buy them." So it was a little bit intimidating switching to a different lead type, especially in my first batch when I didn't even see. I think I sold one policy and I didn't even break even. And then the next week I bought them again, and that week I think I did a 2 or 3x and just kept getting better for there. So I think it was a little bit intimidating, but at the same time, what caught my attention was I was presenting more, and I was taking a look at my dial count. Well, now I'm doing 80 to 100 dials and presenting 3 to 5 times compared to me doing 300 dials and looking for that 3 presentations. So I think the direction was from you at the time. It's like, man, like you need to present more. Like your close rate is high, but your presentations, we need to get those up more. So for me, spending a little extra money on that strong point lead to go and present, 7 to 10 extra times throughout the week, it was definitely worth it for me.
Oh yeah, man, that's so important because if you're not careful, it's very easy to just hyper focus on your ROI, or
Mhm.
it's or see your lead. There's a lot of new agents if they have the wrong mindset of they see their leads as a bill, and it's not a bill, it's an investment, and there's a big difference. And what I was hyper focused on was, yes, of course, ROI is important, and you want to make sure you're getting good ROI in your leads, but what's more important is getting a good ROI in your time, because your
Yep.
time is your most valuable asset. So even
Mhm.
if you're getting a higher percentage of ROI, but you're presenting and closing less, dude, you're costing yourself money. That opportunity cost is so much greater. Because you might grind through an old batch of leads and only spend a couple $100 to write a few thousand. But if you can spend, like you said, spend 5 grand to do 20, what's the overall net? The overall net is okay. Well, I netted 2,200 versus I netted 15 grand.
Mhm.
And so what you need to be focusing on is that overall net and really increasing your production to get yourself on a higher level. Because in case anybody's confused, we say 300 dials, but those are for brand new agents, and you want to be increasing your lead quality as quickly as possible to allow you to hit those high production months. Because you talk to anybody, anybody that's had $100,000 month, anybody that's hit President's Club, ridiculous amount of insurance, they were not calling second chance mortgage. They were calling high intent leads because there's only so many hours in a day, and there's only so hard you can work. There's only
Yep.
so hard you can work before you cap yourself out. So what I want to instill in all of your minds is think about how can I be maximizing my efficiency, making the most of my time, which is presenting to as many families as possible. And it just
Mhm.
comes down to lead spend is really what it is.
And I'm not gonna lie, it was intimidating for me doing lead spin in the beginning. I'm like, man, I could use this $1,000 and squeeze that over the next 3 weeks. It's like buy another lead pack so you're not re-squeezing squeeze lemons. Is like you got to be willing to take a chance on yourself. I mean, that highest month in last January, my lead spin was 13,500, and I remember doing weekly calls with you, and you were like, bro, drop another 2 grand. And like at the time, at the very last time, I dropped the last 2 grand and put me to 3,500. That was all the money I had. And maybe it didn't even, that was literally all the money I had. I put everything in the leads. So yeah, it was a bit intimidating, but of course that was the biggest outcome for me. So that's why with lead spins, like with lead all the time, like if leads are coming in, buy them immediately because you know that you're going to work them in the first place. So now I'm spending around well, so I spent 5,600 so far. So yeah, for this month I'll spend probably around 10,000 in lead spend, but I'll probably write anywhere between 50 to 60. And then from next month I'm adding a dollar as well, so we're looking to bump up to that 100,000 as soon as possible.
$100,000 month. I want to see you do it. You can definitely do it,
Mhm.
brother.
Yeah, 100%. I think I need to do 50 every single month for the rest of the year, and I'll be clear for president. So that's the goal.
Absolutely. Well, Malik, everyone on this call wants to hear the sauce. So you want to role play a strong point? One call close me.
Yeah, I got you covered.
Let's do it.
Ring ring.
Hello?
Hey, Jonah. This is Maliik Love, senior underwriter. I was getting back to you. We had a mortgage protection request submitted on the home. We had Miss Claudia listed there as the beneficiary. Is that correct?
Yep, she's the beneficiary.
Okay, perfect. So again, this is the coverage that pays down the home in case of a death, illness, or disability. So I wanted to make sure, were you looking for coverage for both you and Miss Claudia for the home, or just yourself there?
Probably just me. I mainly filled it out looking for a quote. Can I get a quote? How much this would
Okay.
be?
Okay, yeah, 100%. So you want to make sure if anything happened to you, God forbid, that Miss Claudia will be able to stay in the home.
Yes.
That's okay, perfect. So I got that right. Okay. All right. And then I was taking a look at the mortgage balance. It says less than 250,000. About how much was remaining on the property balance there for you?
We go 240 right now.
Oh, 240. Okay. All right. So let me take a look in that range. I'm gonna send over my license information. The email I had was jonah@gmail.com. Is that the best one?
That'd be correct. Yep.
Okay, give me 1 second here. I actually just sent you over an email. In the title, it'll say mortgage protection request. Let me know when that one pops up for you.
I got it. I'm looking
Got
at it
it?
here.
Okay, perfect. So in the email at the very top, that'll have the link to the Department of Insurance. Right underneath, I went ahead and listed all the steps to plug in there for the verification. So my first name, last name, my NPN, that's my national producer number. So that's my social as an agent. And then the brokerage website, which is Prosper Financial, that'll have all the about us and some of the carriers that we work with as well. And then on the very bottom should be my contact card. It should be a picture of myself with my direct line on there. Do you see that there at the bottom?
I do see that. Yep.
You see, okay, perfect. So I just want to make sure you had all my information handy. And then I want to make sure, do we need Miss Claudia on the call as well? I want to make sure I answer all the questions at once.
She's at work right now.
She's at work. Okay. Is this something that you guys usually take care of together, or are you going to be okay submitting a request for the home?
Yeah, we usually take care of it together. But
Take care.
actually, I tell you what, it looks like she just walked in the door. Perfect time.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So go ahead
Hey,
and throw me on.
what's going on?
Okay, perfect. I just want to make sure you can hear me, Miss Claudia. So, and then I'll run back through exactly if I get the spouse back on, represent who you are, and then what you're offering. Okay, perfect.
Malik,
So,
hate to cut you off. Do you run one-leggers?
I do run one-leggers, but here's the thing. I'll run one-leggers with the wife. I won't run one-leggers usually with the husband because the wife, even if I ask them that, the wife usually makes the decision. So like I usually prompt an appointment unless I'm sure that they'll be able to submit that request. So I'm prompting them with a couple questions there. If not, I'll only run one
The
leg.
wife always wears the pants, guys.
Always. Like no matter what they say, they're gonna have to say they're gonna talk to my wife. So if it's the wife, y'all run the one leg. If it's the husband, I'll prompt the appointment unless he guarantees me he can submit that request.
Got it. But typically, overall, you're booking an appointment, making sure both spouses are present.
Yeah, I'm really big. Like I really want to get the his and hers every single time, and maybe even the kids too. So yeah, that's why I run it like that. You know.
Got it. All right, well, let's
Um,
keep ripping.
okay, perfect. So I just want to make sure you have my information handy. So my job is pretty simple. I'm just gonna go over a couple financial questions with you. Now I'm a broker with the state, so I actually work with every insurance carrier that takes care of the protection. So it'll kind of help me narrow down that list a bit, and then I'll go ahead and display all the coverage benefits as well as all the coverage options. Main goal for me, I want to make sure we find, something that's going to be practical and affordable for you. Now, once we find an option that works, I wish that decision was up to me, but that's up to the insurance carrier. So we submit a request to the carrier. It takes about 2 to 3 business days to hear word back if you were approved. At that point, I'll be calling with your policy number, and the documents will arrive hard copy in the mail within about 5 to 7 business days for you. Okay. And then were you already familiar with the living benefits that'll come with the program for the homeowner?
No, what is that?
Okay, so let me back up a little bit. So the living benefits, not only will this pay down the home in case of a passing, now the number one reason why families end up losing their home is not due to a passing. It's usually due to a homeowner being diagnosed with either a terminal illness or even a major disability, leaving them unable to take care of that mortgage. So if anything like that is diagnosed onto you on the living side, you would immediately have access to the death benefit to be able to pull from, take care of any mortgage payments or medical bills there for the home. Okay. So I'm just gonna take down a couple notes. And you said you were 50 years young?
I am, yes.
Okay, so 50, and I'm right into the client worksheet from there. So my intro is what I've done update wise. My intro is pretty darn short. I spend most of my time in the financial inventory. What I'm doing is mirroring. I'm getting it from their mouth. Like I will not pitch options until I can really pinpoint what is the true value point of this coverage. Like you want to make sure all your ducks are in a row. That way they can't use any of that information against you when you go into that pitch. So yeah, from there I'm straight into the financial inventory.
Perfect.
Um, I don't, did you want me to run through the financial or do you want me to skip over to something else?
Let's run through the full thing
Okay,
just to hear how
okay,
you do it.
okay, perfect. So I got you at 50 years young, and then what was your date of birth, Jonah?
Date of birth was 1/1, 1970.
Okay, one
65.
1970. Okay, 65, perfect. And then what was your current height and weight?
Height and weight is 5'7", 160.
Okay, about 160. And then on file, I got you down as a non-smoker, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, perfect. That's gonna help the rates big time. And then are you currently still working, retired, disabled?
Still working.
Still working? Okay. And then what is your current job title?
I'm an underwater basket weaver.
Okay, so that's what you've been doing that for a while?
Yep, I'm doing it for 10
Okay.
years.
Awesome. Did any of the family get into the same line of work?
I tried to get my son into the trade, but he wants to be a plumber.
Yeah. The trades, I mean, a lot of people don't know the trades are making more money than people coming out of college. So, he has something that'll always be in demand. So that's good.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. From the position about how much is coming in for you on the monthly basis, that's gonna be after taxes.
After taxes, it's 5.
Right at that 5 mark. Okay, perfect. And then, now, Jonah, any major surgeries for you in the last 5 to 7 years?
I had a knee surgery about 3 years ago.
Oh, knees. Okay. Which knee was it for you?
It's my left one.
It was the left one. Okay. How was the rehab? Did you get back the range of motion in the knee?
It took me about 12 months. Just did some therapy on it and pretty much back to normal now.
Okay, perfect. So God is good. So we'll put that down. Any medications that you're currently taking?
Yep, I'm on the Cinepril and amlodipine.
And look, okay, so the two. Was there ever any history of any heart attack, TIA or stroke for you?
No, I just high blood pressure right now. No heart attack.
Okay, just the two high blood. Okay, and then for the blood pressure, is it currently under control?
It is.
Okay, perfect. So we got those. Anything else besides the two high blood pressure medications?
That's it.
That's it. Okay. And then also sometimes on the medical report, even if you're no longer taking it, if it was prescribed in the last 2 to 3 years, it'll still show up on that report there. Is there any other prescriptions you can think of that were prescribed in that time frame that maybe you're no longer taking?
Oh yeah, I was prescribed a hydrocodone a while back for the
The
pain.
hydrocodone. Okay. Was that for
Yeah.
the knee?
Yep.
Okay, so a little pain. Okay, perfect.
Guys, I've never heard it said that way, but that's a really great way to phrase it. Where it's because you have to grill these clients because a lot of times they're either not telling you stuff or they genuinely forgot or whatever it is. So make sure you ask it multiple times. And I really like the way you phrase that.
Yeah, I ran into so many problems. I'm like, oh, they're good to go, and then get to it like, oh, actually, it was this and that. Like, so yeah, double checking with them if there was anything else prescribed, gold for sure. So yeah, from there, okay, perfect. So I'm just gonna read through a couple medical conditions. Let me know if hear anything
Malik,
here.
I take that back. Let's say I'll make it a little bit. I'll make it a little bit more challenging. Let's
Okay.
say I have a heart attack 6 years
hmm
ago. We got to go equity protection.
hmm
We're on the equity protection route.
Perfect. Okay. And the heart attack, you said that was about 6 years ago.
Yes, sir.
Okay, about six. Was anyone there with you at the time for the heart attack?
Yeah. Claudia caught it. Thank God. So
Oh,
I was in the house and she wouldn't have been here. I don't know if I'd still be alive.
goodness gracious. Okay, so let me put that down. So she was there at the time. And then what was the how was the recovery? Is have you had any recent checkups on the heart recently?
Yeah, recovery's been good. Only
Okay.
downside is the doctor said I can't have any more burgers to get the
Oh
burgers out.
goodness. Okay, so no more burger. I got you covered. Okay, so okay, so everything's under control. So just the two blood pressure medications now. No sign of the heart attack since. Okay. All right. And then any overnight hospital stays within the last year?
Nope, not within the past year.
No. Okay, perfect. So what I'm gonna do, because there's two ways that I go about taking care of the mortgage for you. Now, the first way would be a term. Now, terms they do have higher death benefit amounts to cover the full, $200,000 in this case. But the heart attack being 6 years ago, that's actually going to be a knockout for the term side. Now, great news, we'll be taking a look at permanent options. Now, these ones will never expire on you, okay? So because they are permanent, these ones will accrue a cash value. So those will compound interest every time you make your premium payment there. You have full access to that cash value. It still will come with those living benefits that I mentioned before. Now, and I usually won't do this until I pinpoint a couple bullet points on what's going to happen with the home. That way I can tie it in all together. Now, with the permanent options, they're not going to take care of the full entire mortgage balance. However, we'll provide Miss Claudia, with that cushion period of time to where the home will be continuously paid and not lost to the bank there. So what those programs usually look like, and those are most affordable and practical for families in your situation, they look like the amount of mortgage payments. So the home can be taken care of for anywhere between, could be 12 months, could be 15 months, 24 months of mortgage payments. And that'll buy her enough time. I know she's looking to stay in the home. I'll pretty much, I've already found out if she's working, what her income is, if she's going to stay, sell the home. So I'll find out her current situation first, then I'll tie this back in. So I know she's looking to stay in the home. And currently she's making around, $2,000 a month. Is that correct? Get it from their mouth. Okay. Now, taking a look, would that be a little tight for her to manage the mortgage payment for herself? God forbid anything. Yeah, it would be okay. So with this
Well,
program,
she'd figure it out.
she figured, okay. So we want to make sure we're not burdening her, on her on top of her own bills, on her worst day there. So what this program is going to do is it's going to allow her to stay in the home. She'll have enough time to get accommodated to paying the mortgage. If she is looking to sell the home, she would have enough time to get the home cleaned up, listed, and take out, recoup on that equity that I'm sure you guys have worked hard for. Okay, is all that making sense so far?
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense so far.
So what my job is, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start with the first program. I'll lay out 4 options from there. If you do want to go up in coverage from there, no problem. I'll just add on another carrier with the same exact benefits. Okay, I'm about to pitch a stack. So I'll let them know, hey, I'm looking for something comfortable. I'll lay out the first 4 options. If we find something comfortable there, we can see if we can get you an approval. If you do want to go up in coverage, no problem. Just let me know and we can do that, okay? So
Okay.
pretty much just assuring them, hey, I'm looking for something comfortable. If you want to go up in coverage, aka I'll pitch a stack. That's how I'll set up the stack. Usually I'll find their comfort point in the first 3 to 4 options I lay out with the first program. If they tell me if I hear any vibration that they actually want more coverage, okay, no problem. I'm actually just gonna go up in increments. I'm adding on that second carrier. If you guys are pitching stacks, after I pitch my first 3 options, go up in increments. So okay, so that first program that maxed at 40, that was 24 months of mortgage payments. Okay, so what I'm taking a look at now is 36 more months of mortgage payments. That'll be 3 full years for Mrs. Claudia. And that would be, 200 and that would be $200. Was that still comfortable for you there? Okay, so let me take a look at 48 months for 4 full years. That one goes up to about $300. Was that still comfortable there? I want to make sure I'm not. If I hear any hesitation, perfect. Walk yourself back down into something that's comfortable. So that's how I'm usually
Mm,
pitching the stack as well.
interesting, interesting. So you'll show options and then you'll go up in price, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Then I'll go
And
up.
that works well for you?
That works well. Now, here's the thing. I will only do that if I see that their income will allow that. So if I know that they're on a tight budget, I know I'm probably hitting them in those first 3 options for the EP. But if I hear any vibration on, oh, I want more coverage or, I want that to be taken care of longer, no problem. Hey, I'll just put on another carrier with the same exact benefits for you. So I'm going to list up the next option and I'll go up in increments. Once I hear something that's not comfortable, I'll work myself back down. And that's how I'm usually able to pitch the stack to whole lives.
Got it. Fabian asked you a question, said you ask for the budget before showing options, or you just go based on their income?
Good question. So in this situation, if we're running off this example, before I get to the soft close, I want to tie all the information in together. That way they're not able to pull anything, out of their ass later on in the presentation. So I'll usually break down before I soft close after I got his medical. Okay. And then for Mrs. Mary, I know so for Mrs. Mary, and God forbid if anything happened to you, Jonah, would she be looking to stay in the home or would she be looking to sell the home?
She'd stay there.
She want to stay. Okay. And then if they ever tell you they're going to stay in the home, what, as the underwriter, like what position are they in to stay in the home? Go and dig in from there. So, okay. So she wants to, and then for Miss Claudia, is she currently working, retired, disabled?
She's working part-time.
Okay. So she's working part-time. About how much is coming in for Mrs. Claudia for the month?
2,000.
About that 2,000. Okay. Now taking a look here, now God forbid if anything happened now, is there anything that would be going to Miss Claudia currently? Like, is there anything in place that will be carrying over to her? Any sort of
No,
replacement income or?
well, I got a work policy. You'd be
Okay.
getting.
Okay. So I'm glad you got the work policy. Okay. And I'll usually separate the work from what this is. Is there anything, any standard life insurance outside of work, any 401k, IRA, stocks, bonds, or mutual funds?
No.
No, okay. Now, taking a look at what we have in place now, I know we have something through work. Taking a look at her monthly income being that 2,000, the monthly mortgage payment at 2,500, I would imagine that'd be pretty tough for her to stay in the home. Is that correct?
I'll make this a challenging one for you.
Okay.
I mean, she'd figure it out.
She figured out. Okay. Miss Claudia, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, yes, I can.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so we want to make sure, God forbid anything happened to Mr. Jonah, that you'd be okay in the home. Now, what I'm taking a look at now, I know you're currently bringing in around 2,000 for the month, the monthly mortgage payment being around 2,500. And I know Jonah said, you figured out if something happened to him now, would you see yourself in a position to maybe, work maybe 2 or 3 jobs to make that mortgage payment?
I
Will that
think
be?
if something happened to me, if I had to get 3 jobs, then I would probably, downsize the house. I don't need this much space for myself.
Quite downsize, yeah. And that's what most families do in that situation. So what I'm gonna do for you guys, I'm actually gonna take a look at programs that will cover the mortgage for a set period of time. That way, God forbid, if something was to happen, you're in a situation where you couldn't afford the mortgage, well, that's when this program would kick in for you, and that would take care of the mortgage for anywhere between, 6 to 24 months of mortgage payments. That way, for you, Mrs. Claudia, if anything happened, the home will be covered. You would have enough time to get the home, cleaned up, sold, and put onto the market. Is that making sense so far?
Kind of.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna lay out three options. The only difference in the options is the amount of time it's gonna pay the mortgage. And you guys let me know what's comfortable from there, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Walk them right back into the. So like I really
Oh.
want to make sure they understand, and the thing is too, like I want them to know, to understand all the way to the point where they already know that we're going to be looking at months of mortgage payments. So now when I get to the end, I've already eliminated all the objections. They know that we're going to be looking at months of mortgage payments. Which one is comfortable for you? It's a lot easier of a pitch. And I think that was one of the biggest things for me when I first started. I would lead clients all the way to the end and be like, yo, like, so I got this equity protection. It's kind of like, wait, what is this? I thought we were covering. So then it's kind of head to head at the end, trying to go back and then represent the value rather than me soft closing. And the thing is with me soft closing too, like I'm putting up doors. However, if I soft close you on EP and maybe I sense a vibration that you didn't you didn't budge on it or you didn't bite on that EP, I'll remove that door. Hey, okay, so perfect. So say it was a case where he had the heart attack and he wants more coverage. He wasn't really buying the EP. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll start with the first program. Exactly, like I'll start with the first program. I'll lay out some options here. If that's comfortable, no problem. We can go up higher in coverage. It's going to be a little bit more on the monthly premium, but I'll try to find out what's best for you. Okay, so I'll immediately start pitching the first three options, and I know he already wants more coverage. Perfect. I'll lay out that next part of the stack. So I'll only do that if their budget permits, or if I hear any vibration that they might, want more coverage than what I was explaining from the soft close on. There's two ways that I go about taking care of the mortgage.
Yeah, 100%. Do you ever, if they say, let's say they're like mid-70s, and they can only qualify for equity protection, they're like, yeah, we want to cover the full mortgage. Are you showing them full mortgage coverage, $2,000 a month?
Yeah. In that situation, no, I'm not. I'm pitching, of course, I'm pitching EP. The way that I'm breaking it down, hey, there's two ways. Say in this case, there's 70. Okay, so there's two ways that we go, typically go about taking care of the mortgage. And why I'm explaining it like this is so that they know exactly why we weren't taking a look at the full mortgage. Now that question is not going to come into play. Now, in this case, them being 70, odds are there's more years on the mortgage term than we can cover them on an insurance term. So 70 max term we can cover is 10 years. So I'll usually point that out. Hey, there's two ways that we go about taking care of the mortgage. Now, I know you're 70 years young, so the max term we can cover you is about a 10-year term. I know there's about 20 years that remain on the mortgage term. So I will leave about 10 years where you weren't covered. So what I'm going to do for you, great news, I'm going to look at permanent options. These ones will never expire. They'll cover you the whole way through, build the product
Why do you
up,
have to leave?
and then I'll go from there. So that's how I usually break it
Claudia,
down for clients that might be older.
I like that. I like that way of explaining it. And you also, like, you respectfully, and I want to go back to the psychology of what you did, where you respectfully dismantled me. Where when I said, "Oh, she'd be fine," she clearly would not be fine. And then, or I might give you some BS of like, "Oh, she's got her accounting degree. She'd be going back to, being a CPA full time." Blah 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 blah. It's like, okay, well, John, I'm assuming that's exactly why you were looking into this coverage, because you and your wife Mary, you guys are entering a stage where you're looking at retirement, and so you wouldn't put Mary in a situation where she is forced to get another job or go back to work full time. God forbid when something does happen to you, or whatever the case may be, and then you just steer right back into it. So, and just knowing how to, because I see new agents where they're don't know how to handle an object, like they take everything the client says at face value, and they don't know how to challenge them, and they just believe everything they say, or they're just headbutting them. So the way you handled that was really good, and you acknowledged it, you acknowledged it head on, but you actively navigated and retook control of the conversation.
Retook control 100%. So yeah, guys, if you guys want to get back in control of the situation, of course, ask a question. And like I'm so quick with it, I'll ask a question and I'll pivot you right back into what we're looking at. Like, so I'm able to like force my way through the presentation. But I wouldn't say force because I'm addressing what's going on. I'm just making the pivot so quickly that now we're back on the same page. You guys want to do that every single time so you don't get to the end, like Jonah was saying, now it's head to head. Well, it's too late to try to go back on your words now. You want to get all the information. If I don't get all the information in the financial inventory, I'm probably not going to pitch.
100%. All right, Malik, well, let's say, all right, so we present the options. And then from there, I'll hit you. I'll hit you with the dreaded, I need to think about it. How do you handle that?
Okay. Okay, gotcha. And taking a look, Jonah, I hear you. You say you need to think about it. Now, was it the coverage itself, or was it more about the price?
It was more so the price.
More so the price. Okay. Now, currently, what we have in place, if something happened to you yesterday, I know we went through that. We wouldn't want, Miss Claudia to, pick up a second or third shift. Now, what my job is to see if we can actually get you an approval. And then if it's pertaining to price, what I usually recommend for my clients to make sure we get something in place, taking a look at that bronze option being that $65 a month, $65 a month. Um, is that something that you can squeeze into the budget now, that $65 option?
We could probably make that work.
Probably make that work. Okay. So what I'll do, because I want to make sure it's something comfortable, you know, last thing I want is to put something in place 6 months down the line, the policy lapse. That's usually when I see something happen to a family. So what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna take a look at the 4 month option. That one came in right at $45. That one we can sure for squeezing the budget. Is that $45 option?
I could for sure make that happen.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So what I'll do, we'll submit a request at that $45 option that was covering 4 months of mortgage payments. Now, here's the thing, Jonah. 6 months down the line, anytime down the line, you give me a call, say, hey, Malik, we actually want to go up to the next program. I'm looking for more coverage. We can always do that at a later time. Today, we're just seeing if we can get you an approval as something comfortable, and we can make adjustments from there. Do you already have my number saved?
No, I don't.
Okay. You're gonna want to save my number, and then also if you can share that with Miss Claudia. That way if you guys ever need me, you guys can contact me directly. So it's gonna be a 2 call process for myself. So the first call will be about 2 to 3 business days out, and I'll be calling to let you know if you were approved for the program. I'll be giving you your policy number, and then the documents, those will arrive hard copy in about 5 to 7 business days. So I'll also be calling back on that second time to make sure those documents were received. What's usually the best time throughout the day to give you guys a call? That way I'm, not inconveniencing your schedule
Uh, I'm typically, I'm available in the evenings.
in the evenings. Okay. So I'll put today being Wednesday, I'll put the first call for Monday, and I'll give you a call about 6:30 p.m. Is that okay? You'll be back at the home about 6:30?
That will be, yes.
Okay, perfect. So I'll be letting you know for the approval there. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started here on the medical check for you. They'll be taking a look at the driver's license number that's just used to confirm your identity, as well as the social for that MIB report. That's the Medical Information Bureau. Just make sure everything matched up with what we went over today. Do you have your driver's license number handy?
I do, yep.
Okay, perfect. And then go ahead with that number.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, perfect. And then same thing, go ahead with the social. And then after I ask for certain stuff like that, boom, I'll release some of the sales pressure. Okay, and then for Mrs. Claudia, does she have a middle initial in her name? I'll go over
Yes,
that.
she does.
Okay, go over the beneficiary information. Okay, and then now, John, if you are approved, you would see that first initial draft in the next 3 to 4 business days. That'd be great news. That means the coverage is put in force for the family there. So you're not gonna have to worry about anything. Now, after the first initial draft to lock in the coverage, what's usually the best reoccurring date for that to bill on for you?
About the 15th would be good.
Okay, so if you want to write that down on
Mhm.
that same sheet of paper, that would
Malik,
be
let me stop you there. That's so important. We were just talking about this morning on the morning huddle at our house here. It's just don't ever set the draft dates out unless they're on Social Security. If they're Social Security, that's one thing you don't want to mess with. But other than that, immediate draft date, and you can change the reoccurring bill date
that.
because
Great point.
I've made that mistake where they're like, oh, never ask them when they want to be billed. It's always a bad time. Oh, bill me next month, and then by the time next month rolls around, they forgot what they even signed up for. They get billed, oh, $130. What's this? Oh, cancel. And all the emotion, everything's already gone away. And
Yeah.
then so not only do you get paid a lot quicker, which is important, but you have much better persistency when you put the policy in force right away.
Hmm. So, and that's a great point. Yeah, if they are on Social Security, I'm for sure matching that to the day that they get that Social Security. If I know I'm already working with a fixed income, I'm probably going to pitch SBLI because no matter if I push the date out, we're still going to get paid on issue anyway. So if I do have that in mind or indicator, I'll probably pitch SBLI for that very reason. But yeah, so I'll prompt them with what after I set the expectations for when the first draft will be, when the reoccurring date. Then I'll go in for the banking. So it's a lot easier on the ear and less sales pressure when you address it like that, because now they know they have the expectations when they're going to be billed, when the reoccurring is going to be billed. Okay, perfect. Now, they're just going to validate that your name matches on the account it's coming from. Who is it that you bank with? Now they're a lot more willing to give me that account number and routing because they know they have the expectations already. So that's how I'm usually going in for the banking.
1000%. 1000%. Well, we're running out of time here, but in closing, because I think it's important to, not only share the wins, but also talk about things we've learned. And I made a ton of mistakes. I probably made more mistakes than everybody on this call, and those are the biggest learning lessons. So, in terms of not only are you producing on a high level, but you're also building a team. So, share some things that you've learned, you've had to adapt, kind of things you've gone over on one-on-one calls, about the place you are now, certain things you could redo over if you had
Yeah,
to.
I was just actually talking to John about this. I know one of the things for sure, like I will not stop writing again. I think I took like 2 or 3 months where I was just kind of doing some training, like working with the teams. But like this industry does not work unless you're leading from the front. So you want to make sure that your numbers are high. Your team usually does half of what you do. So if you're going out there shooting for 60 to 80 every single month, well, guess what? Now your team has something to follow. So always leading from the front for sure. Reach for President's Club every single year. And it's really good on recruiting. That pretty much speaks for itself. You guys can build out systems, that sort of stuff from there. Recruiting, I think one of the biggest things I messed up, it's always a learning lesson. It was like, I think I was super excited about the opportunity and I wanted to share it with every single person. So friends, family, hey, you think this might be good for you, come on board. Like, so just onboarding people that, and this industry is not for everyone. Not everyone has that entrepreneurship drive. So I think in my last 1, 2, 3, my last 5 recruiting calls, I've denied people. And it's tough because of course I want people to join the team, but like I know what this comes with. Like, are you gonna stay in the office with me longer than me? I'm in the office every single day. No, well, this might not be for you then, especially if you're just coming in. If you don't have more drive than me and I've been doing this, like it's not gonna work. And also, now I'm just looking for overqualified people. So producing at a high level will allow that. If you're producing at a high level, of course you can get, higher rated, candidates to come and join your team. So that speaks for itself. So in your recruiting process, you really want to grill them for a 2 or 3 interview process to make sure I go over all the ugly about the situation when I first get on the phone. I don't even talk about the wins because I want to see if this is something. Do you think you can grind for 3 months and say you don't make anything? Is this still something that you want to be a part of? Like, yeah, the success is there, but like, what is your productivity? Like, what is your drive? What is your motivation? That's what I'm really looking for. And if you can commit to this schedule with me, and I'll show you how to write it at a high level. So that's how I'm approaching my recruiting calls now.
Man, that's so good. And also leading from the front, where the best sales training is, hey, bro, come in my office, come listen to me close this deal. Come listen to me help this family.
Hmm. Yeah.
1,000%. Well, Malik, we're going over on time, but close us out, brother.
Well, thank you guys, one, for hopping on. If you guys hop on Tuesdays, I'm running the strong point calls if you guys want more sauce for that. Main takeaways, don't be afraid to, drop that lead spin. Try to get to $2,000 a week in lead spin as soon as possible. Get through your first 100 presentations as soon as possible. Keep your productivity high. Check with your mentor before you just run off and buy a strong point. You want to make sure it aligns with what you got going on now. Yeah, and 100% Claudia, scare money don't make money. So
Yep.
yeah, thank you guys.
And Malik, for those that want to hop on the strong point training calls, for everybody to lock those in their calendar, what time are those?
Those are 1 PST, so they're 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Tuesdays.
10 a.m. Tuesdays, Pacific Standard Time.
Mhm.
All right. Well, let's make it a massive week. God bless everybody.
1
Thank you
p.m.
guys.
Eastern.
1 p.m. Eastern.